You guys knocked out of the park on our last video for Eugen. Next one on the chopping block is Esiemo. I'm Reckless from Reckless Perry Gaming. Let's get started. Alright, as always, we're going to feature a comment here. If you want your chance to feature your comment, leave a comment down below in this video to have your comment featured in our next video. Just like in our last video, we won't be going over the ultimate weapons. The ultimate weapons can change how the actual descendant plays, and it also goes based off of your playstyle. You might like a certain weapon, but someone else might not like that certain weapon. So we won't be going over the ultimate weapons, but please leave a comment down below. What ultimate weapons do you guys tend to like on this descendant specifically? And for those who have their own experience of playing this descendant, please leave a comment down below how you're playing it. Now, one thing I really like about this game is there's so many ways how you can play a certain descendant, different mods, different descendant mods, different weapons. It all changes. And one thing I did really like about our last video for Eugen, everyone was giving their feedback specifically of how they were playing it. Try this mod. I think you're going to really enjoy this mod. I want to try this, doing this. I think it's really awesome to see a community that are really interested to keep improving. So please, if you're more experienced than I am, go ahead and leave a comment down below how you were playing with Esiemo. All right, we'll be going over Esiemo's kit and base skills, his descendant mods, and his mods that could work with him. And then I'm going to show you guys how I am currently playing him. Without further ado,
you don't build a reputation. You exploded.
alright, Esiemo is a very interesting character. It took me a few minutes, if you were to watch my live stream on when I first started playing, to really understand his kit and really to make best use out of it. So going over his skill 1, you'll see skill 1 is called time bomb, and if you see the window that you have there, you can throw these time bombs. You can have a maximum of 5. They stick either to the floor, the terrain, or to the actual enemy, and it's very forgiving. If you're in range and is really far, it's actually going to be very good that it's going to actually grab onto an actual target versus the floor. Can it do it? Yes, but there is some forgiveness when it comes to that. And there's not just like a toss where it has an arc. It's actually like a bullet where it goes straight forward where you're going. So if you're looking from where you're at to the terrain all the way on the other side of the map, it will continue to keep going. So just keep that in mind. Now you can have a maximum of 5 and you have a 12-second cooldown. Now this damage does base off of skill power, and it does have a range of 3 meters. Now, after you have as many of the sticky bombs are out, there is a timer on here. I want to say it's about 10 to 15 seconds that it will explode by itself automatically. Or if you happen to shoot the target that has the actual bomb connected to them, or your teammates shoot it, it will detonate as well. His skill 2 is called Blast. Pretty much is his detonate skill. One thing, if you guys watched my live gameplay when I first started playing this character, I was kind of upset that his detonate is actually costing us like actual energy just to detonate the actual bombs you bought out. But as I continue to keep playing with the character, I was able to adjust myself to be able to understand his kit a little bit better. Keep in mind that the wording here specifically says detonate the attach bombs. That's going to be very important because I'm going to explain certain things about how you can manipulate your minds to be able to some to detonate and some not to detonate. So that's very important to make sure you're detonating the attach bombs. And what I really do like about his skill 2 is I'm going to put a video of it up here. You're going to be able to see that whenever your bomb has been attached to someone, you're going to be able to see the icon light up to let you know that you actually have a bomb to detonate. Alright, now his skill 3 is called Guided Landmine. As you see in the window, you can see how big the range specifically is for this. Now I know it's called Guided Landmine, but to me it's more like a trap mine. Anyone who gets into that radius, the mine that's in the middle will actually pick up and actually attach itself to it, and it'll be mostly the closest one to the mine when it does attach. But keep in mind, one very important thing is if an enemy gets in that circle but there's an obstacle in the way, it will attach itself to the terrain. So you want to be very careful when doing this because you might actually attach it to it, but it might not be actually on the actual character. That has happened to me a couple times and I had to learn and adjust accordingly as well. Now, going over the basic information specifically on this, you do have a maximum of 3 of these that you can put. They are big radius, so keep that in mind. And with a big radius, you actually have bigger damage as well. And as you can see down in the middle, underneath guided landmine, you will also see skill power times 1061%. So this is a lot stronger than skill 1, which has 407. So this is where this one does the most damage. So if you want to make sure that a specific enemy has that, you want to be able to adjust accordingly to that, because this is going to have the most. And depending on your style, when I first was playing it, I thought that this guy would be just good for void bosses. It felt like he was just like a single target kind of person. As I kept playing him, I started to realize if you can just put your landmines in certain locations, as come up, you funnel them in a certain location, they then come together, and then you can explode it. So there's different ways to definitely how to play him. I'm going to start showing you some footage of that as well. All right, his skill 4 is called Archy Explosion. Pretty much as you see in the window, what you do is you pretty much ignite yourself as a bomb, and you will dash forward. Now, when you are doing this, it is really tough to move. It's pretty much like you're in a straight line. If you try, you might be able to move just a little bit, but you can't veer off too much. You can't turn on a dime. So whenever you do this, you know you're going to go straight. And any little ad that's in your way, you will knock back them as well. And then as you get closer, you can either detonate him by activating the skill 4 again, or you can wait for the timer to go off and it will automatically do it as yourself. Now, when you do explode, it is a really big explosion. It does do a lot of damage. As you see, 7,414% is your base stat specifically. Now, if I move myself over, you can see that the cooldown is actually 80%, and it costs quite a bit. But like I said, this is going to do a lot of damage. Now, just even playtesting him just for a little bit, when I was first doing with barely any mods, I was doing over 1,000,000 damage just with this ability. And when I was adding mods to it, I got anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe 4.5 was the highest I've ever seen it explode. It could go bigger if I keep putting more and more mods to build up his maybe crit rate or something like that. But this does a lot of good heavy damage. Now that damage can be in a big radius and it can hit multiple targets. So you can have multiple 3 to 4 million damage easily if there's more targets specifically nearby. This can be a good time to clear out an entire room as well. All right, and his passive, whenever you pretty much break your shield and it's completely gone, you would actually drop a bomb right where you're at and it would explode pretty much immediately. It does do some damage. There is a cooldown of it, so even if you got your shield back quickly, you still have a 30-second cooldown. Yes, you could bring that down, but it's good to have another chance to be able to explode. If you're being bombarded, it's really good that as they're getting on top of you, you're able to have a bomb because of your passive to also detonate as well. All right, now let's go over his descendant mods. All right, I want to emphasize this as much as possible. And oh my guys, if you want to see all the mods that you can get in the game and where to get them, if you're on PlayStation, you want to hit that touchpad. If you're on PC, hit G. By touching those buttons, you can bring yourself into the map and go over to access information, and you're going to see modules. When you click on this is where you can see all the mods that are in the game. Now for us, we're going to go ahead and search Esiemo. All right, now these are the mods that you can get specifically for Esiemo. Going over the first mod, it's called Explosive Invade. Spawns a guided landmine when you're rolling. So pretty much skill 3, when you roll, drops a landmine. Now there is a cooldown for this. I don't know what the cooldown is. I don't currently have the mod. I did try to farm out the mod. I could not seem to get it. If I happen to get it, maybe I'll leave a comment down below. Or maybe someone else has this mod. They can leave a comment down below how they enjoy it and what some of the stuff you would notice on that specifically. It is nice to be able to, as you roll, you try to get yourself out of a situation. Maybe as they're starting to bombard you a little bit, you can roll backwards. They get into the mine actually attaches, and then you can detonate that one as well. So that could be really good for that sort of playstyle. Next one we're going to go over is called Cluster Bombs. Cluster Bombs is detonating Detonating an attached bomb creates additional explosions at the detonated location. Now, this was a mod that I was able to get, and I'm going to be talking about this mod specifically. As you can tell, it's the only one highlighted. This mod is what was a mod that I was really interested in getting because it sounds like it will be able to increase his damage even more so. All right, his third mod is explosive propaganda. And what that seems to do, it says in the description that you will generate an explosive propaganda that taunts nearby monsters until it is destroyed, upon which upon which it will explode and cause great damage to nearby enemies as well. So it's a good way to relieve some of that attention that you're getting specifically, that they can specifically be going to a possible decoy that they will tend to go to it. I don't know too much information about that, but again, if you happen to have this mod, please leave a comment down below. How are you guys enjoying this mod and with this playstyle? And the last mod we're going to go over is Creative Explosion. Now, this mod, as you can see, goes specifically for his ultimate. After a dash uses up all the available bombs to inflict great damage on nearby enemies, the more bombs available, the greater the damage inflicted. Now, this is another mod that I will be looking to getting for sure to see what his damage will be like. The fact that it scales off of how many bombs you have available will be really amazing. I wonder how high that damage can go. If I'm hitting anywhere from 3 to 4.5 million, I can only imagine it'd be going even higher on that. So I will be looking for that. Now, if you want to see where you can specifically get these mods, so for example, Creative Explosion, if you look at it, this one comes from the Hard Obstructor. Explosive Propaganda, you can get this from the Hard Pyromaniac. Cluster Bombs, you can get it from the Hard Executioner. And Explosive Evade, you can get this from all the Echo Swamp missions. There is a chance for you to get it there. The actual like strike missions and actually open world missions, you'll be having a chance to actually get this, including the void missions as well. You have a chance to get this mod. Like I said, I've tried to farm even the fastest way that I could farm. There is I forget the name of the mission. You could do it within like 1 to 2 minutes tops, and I still wasn't able to do it even though I was farming it. Again, I was finishing the mission 1 or 2 minutes tops, and I still wasn't able to actually get the actual mod to drop. So those are the ways you can specifically get it. Now, the mod that I'm going to be talking about in this video is Cluster Bombs. Now, what's good about this one is Hard Executioner is the very first Void boss. So he's not that far in the list if you are still starting off. You just have to farm out the very first boss, which could be a pain in the butt if you don't have the right teammates to go in there for you. That specific boss is weak against Toxic. So if you have anything Toxic, your weapon Toxic, you have Freynas in your team, or you have Ultimate Glaze, they will be really good specifically to knock this out of the park for you guys. And it took me a while for me to finally get this mod, but I will say I do enjoy the mod. All right, now what I wanted to do is show you guys how I have my Esiemo built out. Now, currently, this is how I have him built out currently. Now, you guys were awesome in the comments. You guys were able to, in the last video, teach me some things, which was making sure your Descendant mod and your secondary mod actually is leveled up, because then that would also give you mod capacity as well. So I want to thank you guys, because I don't remember that from the beta. I could be wrong, but it doesn't really tell you about adding a specific mod to it that it would actually increase it specifically on the Descendant mods. So I did not know that you can actually increase your mod capacity just by leveling this up as well. So I want to thank you guys for that. But currently, the way I have it built out, I have cluster bombs. What I would want to do is I want to show you some of the footage of me using cluster bombs, how they actually work, and why I like it. It is really good for ad clearing. It's actually, as you're doing like defense mission and stuff like that, when you have a group of ads that is destroyed by the original bomb, it would then throw these cluster bombs, and as ads spawn on top of that, there is like a 3 or 4 second time window of before the actual cluster bombs actually blow up. So there's a chance that as the ads spawn up, they will get destroyed by those cluster bombs. So there's multiple ways to keep that burst damage going, which is really nice. And almost like in any specific build, you go with your staples. HP, you go with increased defense, and even skill cooldown, you want to have that as well, just to be able to spam your abilities. I feel like those are your staple mods. You can't go wrong with those. As you see here, I'm using Technician to be able to get my skill power modifier on top of that. And I'm also using Fire Master currently as well. Skill power is 44.4 with fire skill power at 19%. Now, if you don't already know, he's fire. So this is going to be able to really boost his damage as well. Now, this is something that I am testing currently myself. Time distribution. I want faster cooldowns, specifically for my time bombs and also my landmines, and including my detonation skill. I want to be able to keep spamming them as much as I can. So besides having nimble fingers for that faster cooldown, I'm also doing this as well to not only give me a faster cooldown, but also give me some HP as well to be able to survive a little bit better by having this. All right, now if you want to see how the cluster bomb actually work, you can see as the window pops up, as you explode, then you also have an additional explosion. As you see, that explosion goes kind of far a little bit and does even more explosions on top of that, which is really nice. As you see with both my skill cooldowns on top of it, now we're going from 10 seconds down to 6, pretty much almost half of that cooldown that is set at from the base. On top of that, I'm also getting 27% from 27, correction, from 27. I'm getting 78% bonus skill damage. And same goes for the burn that there's a chance to inflict. Now looking at my skill 1 specifically, you'll be able to see how the cooldowns, how I have it set up. So if you go for something like I have, more for a cooldown build, you're going from 12 seconds down to 7.2 with a burst damage of 458%. And then his skill 3, you're going from 14 seconds down to 8.4. Like I said, you're getting close to almost half of that cooldown to be able to activate more specifically. You're going from 1061 to 1112% now for that, all that skill power damage now. Now, I'm trying to figure out if I want to focus more on his ultimate as possible and try to get that modifier to go up a little bit more. You went from base ultimate being 85 to 136 to the burst damage being 7,414 to 7,465. So there's only a small difference in there, but like I said, it does do a lot more damage. And now by also having that faster cooldown, as you see, the actual passive actually increases as well, decreases. You go from 30 seconds down to 18, so you can activate this more if your shield keeps breaking. You'll be able to drop a landmine. That landmine would do damage as well. I wanted to show you guys is how many with a faster cooldown like mines, how many mines can you put out on the field. So we're going to use your skill 1 and you're going to be able to see.
Start the count. Firing time bomb.
All right, that's 5, 6. By the time you have 6, they're already detonating. All right, now I want to go ahead and test how many skill 3s, the actual trap mines, can you put out with my fast cooldown.
Hey, this way. Let's go.
Now keep in mind that his skill 3, like I said before, does the most damage for all out of all your bombs. And something to keep in mind, like we were just going to talk about, I wanted to mention it now, is that when you activate his second ability, which is detonates all the bombs that are pretty much attached, is very important because remember, keep in mind that the landmines that you put down, if you put down landmine here, but you put a sticky bomb over here, when you detonate them, only the sticky bomb will actually detonate, the landmine won't. As you see here. Now, the reason I wanted to make sure you guys know that is you can play around with that and manipulate however you want. So if you want to leave this closer to like a bigger boss, as they come in here, they're going to take the bigger one, the bigger damage, with the bigger bomb. You can use your skill 1 to get the little ass out the way, so when the elite comes to you, you're able to actually snag it with the actual landmine specifically. I just want to make sure you guys be able to understand that, again, skill 2 specifically works on attached landmines. So if I was to use, so I want to go ahead and show you guys that landmine specifically If it's attached, then it will detonate if you activate skill 2. So we're going to go ahead and get closer to it and add over here. Drop this. Drop this. It does detonate. All right, now what I want to show you guys is how to actually build your Esiemo a little different from the way I have them built if you don't have cluster bombs and you want something very similar version of it. So let me go ahead and show that now. All right, so if you're playing with Esiemo based with no descendant mods, one thing I would recommend if you don't have that, like I said, that mod cluster bombs, to give you a very similar effect of it would be to actually focus on getting skill effect range and building that up a little bit so you have a bigger radius for that bomb to actually go off, and there's a chance to be able to hit other ads inside of that detonation area. On top of that, what I have you focus on is frugal mindset. It would actually give you skill cost cooldown faster, and on top of that, it gives you skill effect range as well. This is a really good mod to increase that range. So you're going from something similar to this. If you're looking at what I have, if you happen to look at this, you're going from anywhere from 3 meters to 4.6. You can even possibly potentially get past that as well to get even a bigger range if you wanted to. Now, if I had all the catalyst to put onto this character, I probably would specifically reformat him to be able to get more range. Can you imagine more range on my cluster bombs? How amazing that would be on top of that. So if I had more to put in and want to keep investing specifically into Esiemo, that might be something I would look into it. But again, like I said, if you don't have cluster bomb mod, I would recommend focusing on skill effect range so you're able to actually hit a bigger range because of that being added to it. All right, and that is the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments down below, how do you guys enjoy Esiemo? There's a lot of different playstyles, so if you have a different experience than I do, let me know down in the comments down below. How are you having him build? What mods do you have on him that you also enjoy? Let me know what kind of ultimate weapons you like specifically. Let me know down below. And if you're on the fence to get Esiemo, did this help you understand his kit a little bit better? Let me know that down below as well. And if you know anyone like yourself or anyone who else is interested in Esiemo and wanted to see an Esiemo guide to understand his base kit, go ahead and share this video so they can actually able to get some information on there. And I appreciate everyone who have joined and sub from my last video. I really do appreciate you guys. We're going to be picking up another descendant. I don't know who it's going to be. Let me know down in the comments down below who you guys think it's going to be. I'm leaning towards trying out Enzo. I know Enzo has a really good skill to be able to get a little bit more shards when farming, so I'm thinking about going Enzo. I know for sure when Ultimate Valby drops and also Luna, we will definitely be doing our guide for them as well. All right, and that is the end of the video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I see you guys in the next video. Peace.